So the third story, number 3, is about LGBTQIA. La-di-da-di-da. La-di-da-di-da. Autistic. La-di-da-di-da. ADHD. La-di-da-di-da. Dating experience. So, another big fat rich community experience, again, including me representing myself, my intellect, educational path, and me still being I think 19, recently 20. I was still searching online for more emotionally intellectual, educative, equal opportunities to meet alternative style of life represented and psychological comparison, very similar from psyche and outside decisions to present yourself. So I stuck with Tinder, and I'm still using the same information, university, professional career path, my preferred thoughts, thinking patterns, just trying to find something similar from a more intellectual group that is not like socially everyday, all about status collecting, and is more different. And so I find this like super like nice, sweet, younger by like 1 year or 2 years. BOI, boy. And like he, she, I don't know. Like I find this picture, this profile, and I message, and almost instantly after I'm being messaged back, and this person is like super nice, and I'm like, okay, questions. Do you know about this, and this, and this, all this stuff? And then they respond with yes, and I'm like, okay, so do you know what this and this and this? So like I expand on some things because they're younger. And so I'm questioning what they know, and they're like, yes, and then they expand a little, and so I'm convinced, right? Like, I'm convinced, like, okay, so the level of mature is reasonable, and like the conversation style is young but like stapled on topics that are mature, and they're giving me their level of heightened awareness for maturity. And so, you know, I'm like, okay, let's bring you up to reasonably the same intellectual level. And so, like, we're trading topics, like psychological topics that we find online, and we're like discussing perspectives on how that works outside in society. And like the messages continue, and so I'm hold on. So I'm asking if you have ever gone into cyber world of alternative style, and the name, or I don't know what the name is, but it's like basically their name is Mateus, and they messaged me back with a website for alternative cyber personality. And I'm like, I finally found someone that understands or knows what I am meaning. Kind of. Because you're still missing all these. Blah, blah, blah. Skater to emo. But it's still a type of alternative darkened room. And I'm, learning the type of brain psyche type because that person is like this. Emotionally, feelings, and thoughts. Like this. And I tried to understand their perspective. I didn't get involved with like overly terms to dating, because I didn't know how much was their chunk of brain and how much was real outside life social togetherness with fluidity. My parents are 4 years apart, so it wasn't like a big thing for me to think about dating someone that was 2 years difference, as long as the intellect was similar. But what was difficult was that I was not like them. It sometimes looked like my brain was like this big compared to theirs. And like they were missing this much because one day they would change from, you know, like you doing that is like too harsh, you need to change it to this. And then I would catch up and use this, and then the second day I would use this, and they would feel attacked for their level of masculine and say, like, why can't you use this? And then me being like okay, and then later on needing this because they were at the right moment to feel girl. So then from here, boy would change to here, girl. And I was accepting. I was fine. I'm like, you look beautiful in all, like, boy, girl, it doesn't matter. Like, I accept it. You're fine. Like, don't psychologically beat yourself for wanting to express yourself from inside out. Like, you're beautiful. And, you know, like, attractive to the eyes. So, like, me trying to, like catch on to, to girl behavior and terms, and boy, male behavior and terms. I mean, I could see and understand their expression of ADHD and the autistic tendencies together, and I was not functioning in their form of speed, but I was experiencing fluidity of both. But with like added years and added tolerance and added confidence, and I was just happy that that person, Mateus, was not stuck in a trance mind, like caged in, not being able to represent and show their choices to wear what they wanted, all that stuff, and, you know, look in the mirror and, you know, their body was perfect at times, and they could enjoy feeling good and confident. And so it just meant that if they kept searching and searching and searching and searching for the right, like the right look, I felt that their perspective was way too greedy, because a trans person doesn't have those experiences in the wrong body. And what made them alternative was that they were autistic, introverted, but really enjoyed socializing and receiving a lot of personal attention from the crowd. So their ability to know how to like put on makeup and decide on outfits was perfectly attractive and specific to their body type and their looks. So it meant that they could get this big chunk of confidence boost and approval for themselves. And that person was just stuck in deciding what and who type of person they preferred to express and bring back. That person was too social, extroverted, at the core, with shy tendencies from embarrassment towards autism and ADHD to seem introverted to a more surface level blanket. Because both her parents are extroverted. And they got used to the rich community family lifestyle, which meant that they didn't worry about money. Like, they didn't for family reasons need to believe that they had to have education, college or university schooling, a job, any of that. And that person was still going through trauma, sexual abuse, abuse, healing time, and that also influenced behaviors in understanding feelings and emotions, with calling it a romance relationship because they were old enough to start a relationship, a romantic relationship, and their emotions and feelings were expressed online messaging with the moments, the times that they needed to be convincing and pursue a stronger, developed decision. And so the emotions would be placed there, but outside they lacked show of a long time for responsibility shown. To friends, family, school, for makeup and nails, all that stuff. I mean, they were professional, already skills that came naturally for nails and makeup, hair, all that. And if they wanted to drop out, they could, and that was the decision. But it meant that they should have began a business and not decided that it was just a hobby. So they truly had lacked building on that part of their brain. Like the ability to see was like blocked. And that's because they had too much trust given to their friends, their family members, and they were experienced or experiencing new levels of their self clean slate, lack of confidence, and into depression. Because they were experiencing honesty with themselves, with what friends and family members said. You can't. Where's the proof? And so their brain, themselves having to believe, you're right. I can't. So experiencing like twice. So first I'm depleted, and then I am adding to how much is being understood. I cannot. And then needing time to, like, go back into okay, I believe my friends and family with I can because it's been 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of seeing that I'm only presenting depressed behavior. And so then later on, building that confidence again with friends and family saying, oh, remember, you're really good at these things. You're really good at makeup. You're really good with design. You're really good with etc. And then that confidence again, and like all of them, friends, family, them, that person, holding on to this string of hopefully nothing and they can experience stability and like skip onto better compared to something that triggers friends, families, again, telling that person, you can't. And then, again, that person, again, depleted, and then in like a lot of depression. So it was just a lot, and I was not ready for that level of keeping watch with all the changes, including family members, including friends, because at the same time it meant that I was learning and dating friends, family members, and like at last pick, Mateus. So it was a little confusing. And how much choice compared to not having choice, which was like a huge like brain upside down experience, because Mateus would have these family friend big expectations for responsibility, and then later telling Mateus how much he couldn't accept that responsibility because he was not enough, or she was not enough, or they were not enough because like mentally and body and all these things were not connecting correctly. So I experienced age gaps and age differences with, all of this. But yeah, and that also meant that I needed to know the age and behavior type, because I didn't know what type of female girl and what type of boy male, because I mean, depending like, it didn't matter, but respecting whether girl or boy, how much in in sensual romance behavior. So like Mateus wanted or would present to me through text an older level of maturity with like really basic forms of sexual preferences, and that he needed to take hold and prefer to be first in deciding what happened. And I agreed because he explained the sexual trauma abuse from a older high school sweetheart guy that used her family money and gender role rules to become more dominant with sexual experiences with Mateus. And her fiance didn't like their fast thinking, their fast psychology brain, and didn't like a female being level or smarter. And the fiance became angry and sexually beneficial and dominantly abusive. And Mateus was caught in a time experiencing real fluidity, personality, behavior, psychological traits. So it was like leaving her psychologically in a blender when it was only meant to stay a little shooken and then back to its place so she could see her fluid parts. And not piecing them back together after it being left in mushy confusion, which meant that she or he, whatever in her heart or their heart, were very, very, very sentimental and got ignored and left to panic for too much time before help understood and found the problem. Anyways, it was a lot, and the differences from meeting the older age patient, suffering but patient person, and expressing their wants, and then later it being diminished for some reason. I mean, including like house rules at their age, and that not being a typical culture thing, only with diagnosis. And so it just meant that like even private time away from parents was a war in their mind for decisions, and which I understood because it's just typical for strict religious and Latino family culture to have rules stick with you like that. For independent thoughts compared to you know, what friend, family members prefer. And yeah, so you know, the sweet, sensitive, young age compared to the older, time, age, wanting their private, personal decisions, and waiting on emotional younger strength for confidence and stability, for life steps and events, and taking in how friends, family members will respond. So, you know, like there's a lot of like sentimental, like sweet, cute, romance, simple stuff, like, you know, like you're sweet and I would love to give you a kiss, whether on cheek or the lips or whatever it is, and then later, like, that, like, moment, like, catches up, and then, like, 50 people are in the room, right, in their head, and they have decided that for all these reasons, it just can't happen. And then, like I said, I'm not dating your friends, your family, and at the end, it just feels like me being last, like me putting the support and effort to put his decision or her decision as best result, opportunity, decision, self-made making for their real life psychological need for stability, for a healthy confidence level, then that puts me at last place, and that can be like a turned around switch of feelings, emotions, feelings, compared to motivation, behavior. So what is aligned is then like left like this. And these things going that way, or in an instant being like this, like just like it makes me sentimentally more compared to another person. Like the other person dating Mateus needs to like be a shut off, romantic, emotionless robot, or like a stick that wants the sentimental experience and drive, energy to prove that he's strong, energetic, best, better. And decides to become the best person, caring, cherishing Mateus. So after another close friend from university time, Kenzie Williams, met Mateus, I was told no to pursuing dating ADHD and autistic, and like I was still, like I know, and emotionally I'm just stuck a little, and I needed that push, go that way, not that way. And so then after that, I just message him, her, they, depending on the day, and I'm like, yeah, sorry, I don't want to date. I don't want friendship. It's all the same. And I had to wait till messages became annoying, became like 12-year-old of just line by line by line by line by line by line just messaging me like you can't, please stay, all that stuff, and hey, starting again, a new day, and I'd go out, work, or go to university class and go back and look, and there would be 100 something messages, small, line by line by line, just explaining something, or hey, are we friends again, or can we date again, or leftover thinking, and feelings and emotions, and I had to pick myself to block that person, knowing that was not all their fault, and yeah, just move on. Yes, I could see they were human, and I could pick that I could feel annoyed with that person, and I didn't need 100 messages, or 112 messages. Including me not reading all 100 plus messages. Maybe one, and the slide, and coming back, and then being it's too much. Yeah. She was so where I'm Fluid because she's a Tumblr popular autistic and she finds positive approval from people with connections to her evolving body type, with non-gender expressions. So like showing her naked body onto Tumblr is for confidence reasons. And I was not sure how much of social media, specifically Tumblr, fame, life, I wanted a type of person to be included in my life. Including nudity and knowing that she was damaged enough to truly believe that her intentions to upload the nude picture of herself was not a sexual get, and all for her boy self-expression with a group of females that she felt safe in, for positive compliments during times of girl, and going back to boy. And that journey. Yeah, so all luck for Mateus. You know, best to find a way, a path to build this side, not only this side, and just keep going. I would hate to be stuck in all those levels of details. And they were a little too immature for me. portion was like this. Like, like that. Sometimes I'm like that. But not